Did you know that over 46% of the world's population is now under 25 years old? Climate change affects the lives and rights of children and youth throughout the world. Article 24 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child states that every child has the right to nutritious food, clean drinking water, and a healthy and clean environment. Article 12 states that children's views must be respected and that they have the right to participate in decisions affecting their lives. By taking action, participating, raising awareness, and making your voice heard, you can help to fight against the dangers of climate change. Youth in Turkey took action by starting a recycling program. By recycling used items instead of using raw materials like trees and oil to make paper and plastic, we save energy, the environment, and reduce waste.
Here in Bursa, Turkey, we decided to help by starting 1,000 children hand in hand for peace, a project to build a new school for poorer children. To raise money to build the new school, 1,006 youth from 50 different schools collected over 530 tons of recycled materials from our homes, schools, and local businesses. We sold these materials to a recycling company and sold Yunisef products and our handmade products at shopping centers and schools. The Peace School will open next year. We are very proud and excited that we were able to help the environment and help other kids get an education.
We, as the UNICEF youth body, planted over 9,750 trees in the past 3 years and grew a peace forest. Billions of people have to breathe oxygen, and trees also absorb harmful carbon dioxide and fight the climate change. We owe it to nature to pay back what we use.
These youth in California learned about climate change and were inspired to act. They won a grant to install smart meters that track their school's energy consumption.
Over the summer, smart meters were installed at our lower school campus, and you can track the amount of energy you're using per each hour of every day per building. Within the first week of installation, we found anomalies or unusual trends in energy consumption. The one problem was that something was going on every single night when no one was on campus. So once Harker went in and fixed the problem, they saved a lot of money and reduced our energy consumption. We basically want to connect schools who are implementing smart meters so we can track energy consumption. And there are about 22,000 high schools in America. So imagine if 22,000 high schools, their energy is being tracked. There'll be phenomenal changes.
In November of 2009, 160 youth delegates from 44 countries around the world gathered at the Children's Climate Forum in Copenhagen. By participating in the forum, they raised their own awareness about climate change.
What I'm interested most about is that I get to meet the 8 delegates from 8 countries which are most affected by the climate change, and listening to their stories made me feel guilty but at the same time responsible.
En 2008, donc, il a plu pendant presque un mois, donc c'était une cyclone, donc j'ai pas été moi-même à l'école pendant près de 2 mois. Les écoles sont fermées et il y en a qui sont détruites, des enfants qui sont dans des marécages, et ça m'a vraiment choqué.
In the Maldives, since we are only averagely 1 meter above sea level, we are really affected by sea level rise, and scientists predict that we don't have more than 80 years to survive before the sea level rises above our heads.
Even if there is a tsunami in America, it won't affect how it's affecting in Maldives, because in Maldives it's just the sand and it's very easy to wash away the buildings.
About 1 feet underground.
Yeah.
At best, my island will be the first island to disappear under. The increase of sea level also has affected the water. Our countrymen depends on well water, which we dig from the earth. It's getting saltier, so it's not just the increase of sea level, it's about everything.
They participated in hands-on solution workshops and also learned how to use media advocacy tools like social networking websites and radio journalism.
So what you're going to do is you're going to work in your small group and you're going to come up with a show about some issue related to climate change. bring together your stories that you have and package it in a very creative and interesting way for young people who are just like you.
These skills will help them in their campaigns to fight climate change.
We cannot talk about children's rights without talking about climate change, because they're the most vulnerable members of society, and so they are more affected in a dangerous way by climate change.
It's really hard for youth and even adults to understand truly climate change, and that's where I think it becomes important youth-to-youth discussion.
The climate ambassadors openly discuss challenges they faced, what they were each doing at home, and what they think their leaders should do to fight climate change.
We have to sacrifice a little bit in the economy to gain more in the environment.
We are not that much united. We don't analyze issues together and find mistakes that every country is making.
Throughout the week, these climate ambassadors worked tirelessly to develop a declaration of recommendations and an action plan. Their voices were heard when they presented their declaration to Connie Hedegaard, the COP15 president, who passed it on to world leaders meeting the following week at the United Nations Climate Change Conference. After returning from the Copenhagen Children's Climate Forum, these climate ambassadors had both the skills and the motivation to act by becoming peer educators and raising climate change awareness among their friends, family, and community. New Zealand's climate ambassadors made their own film, which will be used in local schools to challenge all students to take personal actions to fight climate change.
And these actions have the power to create local, national, and global change.
South Korea's climate ambassadors developed the Earth Savers Carbon Diet to guide their peers to reduce their carbon footprint by changing their personal habits. Climate ambassadors from Zambia have seen firsthand how deforestation and climate change have made their country more vulnerable to droughts, crop failure, and floods that have impacted children's rights to education, health, and a healthy environment. They returned home from Copenhagen motivated to act. They organized and participated in their own climate conference for almost 200 youth from Zambia's 9 provinces. The conference was supported by Yunisef, and youth who attended learned about the risks of climate change as well as practical mitigation and adaptation skills. The Zambian climate ambassadors hope participating peers will become agents of change by taking what they learned about climate change and sharing it with their own families and communities, so that climate change action becomes a household issue throughout Zambia. Now that we've given you some inspiring ideas of what young people just like you are doing all around the world, what are you going to do?
If you just wait, you won't find anything to work on and it'll be too late, so why don't you just start right now?
Reduce your personal waste, recycle, compost, and choose products with less packaging.
Pessimism doesn't get anyone anywhere, because pessimism makes you sit there and think, oh, we're all doomed. But optimism makes you think creatively and then go forward.
Create a plan with your parents to reduce your energy consumption at home. Use energy-saving light bulbs, unplug appliances, turn the lights off, and use less heating and air conditioning. Work with your teachers and classmates to create a climate change group. Review what your school does to go green. Installing smart meters, planting trees, or setting up vegetable gardens may work for your school too.
Todos tenemos que asumir responsabilidades, pero en la medida de nuestras posibilidades.
Walk, cycle, and use public transportation or carpools more often. Educate yourself about climate change and start participating in change. Use UNICEF resources like Unite for Climate. Talk to your family, friends, and peers about the causes and impacts of climate change.
Do something to show politicians that there are solutions out there and they can be implemented.
Remember, as a young person, you have the power to educate and influence your community through both your words and actions.